Our first reading today from the letter of James is moving into the latter part of this letter and reminding, really, I think all of us, it's a warning about what's driving our life. I went through this training a few years ago with other peoples in the community I was living, and it was about how do you work with the poor. And one of the things I found really interesting was that there's a whole different set of values between the poor, lower class people, which oftentimes is also immigrants and people from other ethnicities, and what we would call the middle class, and maybe a little bit higher in terms of status or economic well-being. In lower class economic levels of peoples, the value is relationships, because in some ways that's all you have. But as you begin to acquire some things, the values shift into what's sometimes called success or achievement. And there's a warning in James' letter today that says when that shift starts happening and starts driving our life, and I think we have to be really careful and really honest with ourselves, especially if our own economic status is comfortable. We can always say, well, there's people that make a lot more money or are a lot more comfortable than me, but be careful we get into that comparison game. Because if there's too much a pursuit of things that are just in this world, those things corrode and what's the other word that was used here? Rot over time. And that not only is in terms of the things themselves, but that's kind of what can happen to us interiorly. Another image that James uses, fattening your hearts for the day of slaughter. That we can fill ourselves with other things over time that's really about some kind of temporary goal. There's lots of things we can achieve, lots of levels of success, but that has nothing to do with our life in God. And the further warning is that then can be done on the backs of other people. Come now, you rich, weep and wail over your impending ministries. Behold, the wages you withheld from the workers who harvested your fields are crying aloud. And that's the real danger, is that in pursuit of more, there's never enough, so we pursue more, and then sometimes other people are kind of getting in my way if we're not careful. When we're focused on Christ, two things happen. One is that we find a fulfillment with whatever we're given in this world, and we also value those relationships, not just with Christ himself, but because of his being fully human with all other human beings. And that we pursue what is best in those relationships, in one-on-one, in our community, and even on a global scale. And that affects the choices we make in the lives we lead. So the question is for us, just what is really driving our life, honestly? And is that ultimate goal a success, an achievement, or is it the fullness of life in Jesus Christ, and living in that heavenly, eternal life? May we look straight ahead in this Eucharist to see on the altar our true goal, and may all of our life's energy be driven toward him.